Hello guys, you are welcome back to my channel. Hi. I'm so happy to be here again today. If you're just coming, if you're just a newcomer to the Belly tribe, you are very welcome. And if you've been here, from the very beginning, I am grateful. Guys, we hit 100 subscribers. I'm grateful. However, you guys should preach the word so that this girl can be heard, and that the little work that I do here, I get to see rewards and I'm encouraged to continue. So the core of today's video is going to be my scholarship journey. So I have published and published that I am now a Chevening scholar. You see why it's good to work with faith. So my very first video, I was on reserve. I was on Chevening reserve. However, if you are here for that story, if you want to hear my Chevening story, how I got from being a novice in graduate school applications just as at May 2020, and how I got to win the Chevening without my IELTS, without application fees, and with a 2.2 degree in engineering, not just a 2.2, a 3.07 CGPA. I did not let them hold me back. And so if you're here for that video, if you want to be motivated and for me to show you step by step, because I'm going to go on the website now and create a new email address. I'm going to teach you how to apply from the website, right? I've already covered my essay. So if that is why you are here, then stay tuned to your baby girl's channel, to the Linda Belly's channel. I got my glasses, guys. I think it's nice. I don't know, tell me in the comment section. So I have a lot of questions to answer, so this video is going to be a very long one. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. So a lot of people have been asking me, how did I do it? How was I able to get the scholarship? So first of all, I'm going to say that everything I'm saying in this video is definitely my view. I think these are things that I did that actually helped me gain the scholarship. However, I am not assuring you that following these same exact steps guarantees you a spot as a Chevener, but we can only try our best and then keep up the faith. So the lady you're seeing sitting here did not know what an SOP was as at May 2020. So it's a testimony, right? I didn't know what an SOP was. That is a statement of purpose. I didn't even know how to write one. And so my very first scholarship that I applied for was the PTDF. That was last year. And you can just say I didn't apply for it because I asked a friend to write an SOP for me, because I really did not know what it was. I didn't know how to go about it. As at that time, it was the same friend, shout out to Ajari, it was the same friend that also asked me to go and prepare my transcripts and everything. I was just working at that time, and I was like, I knew I wanted to do my master's abroad, but then I had not put things in place. But then I sat down after he spoke to me. I was like, let's think about it. So he helped me with my SOP, he wrote it, but then he didn't reflect who I was. I felt like, oh, he knows me or he has known me for a while. So after writing, I just submitted on the PTDF, and as God will have it, I'm not sure they even saw my application, but I didn't make it through. And so like I said, a friend had shared Chevening with me in 2019, so I remembered that Chevening is not it doesn't have its bias circled or centered around just academic excellence. So academic excellence is part of it, but it is not the core of Chevening. Chevening wants to see that you have leadership potential, or that you are a leader. And so I was hell-bent on Chevening. I gave it everything. And so in June I started researching. That's why you hear me always saying the key to graduate school applications, to anything you're going to even be doing in life, is research. Please do not underestimate or even overestimate the power of research. right? And so I just got on the Chevening's website, and that's why all of you asking me how do I start, I'd always say type chevening.org. Everything, virtually everything you need to learn about this scholarship is on there. Just comb the website. When I mean comb. And so here I am, a new person to Chevening, and the first thing I went for was about, right? I went to the about. This is what I did, and I read about what Chevening was. However, if I should start reading everything in the video will be very long. I intend to actually do a step-by-step video, like literally applying for Chevening on my laptop, so that you can see and follow through. I'd already done videos about my essays. I'd read out my essays so that you hear what I wrote. Then now I'm going to tell you how I developed those essays. And now the first thing I did that was different from what probably every other person did was I didn't get a scholar or a previous scholar to review my essays. The person that reviewed my essays was not a scholar. And so what I did was, I felt like all the scholars would be very busy. Some of them might, have their schoolwork. So I looked for somebody on a network I joined at that time, right? He had experience and he had lived in the UK. So I felt like if he had lived in the UK, then he probably knows how the people in the UK think, right? He probably knows how they would be able to understand my essays, because I believe that the main thing was for me to be able to paint a picture that you can understand. So yes, it is my story, I am telling it, but another person has to understand it. And given that I'm a Nigerian, and Nigerians, we always have a way we write things, and believe me, I've seen people's essays, people that have sent me their essays, and some of the essays look alike, right? So I had to learn and unlearn a lot of things during my Chevening journey. Believe me, Chevening, applying for the scholarship is a very reflective period. It's not something you just sit up and apply for. And to encourage somebody out there, I submitted my essays, or I submitted my application on the very last day. I'm not advising you to do that. Please don't do that. But it shows how much time I invested in developing this scholarship, because I wanted it badly. So about says Chevening is the UK government scholarship and fellowship that enable future leaders to study in the UK whilst joining a global community of professionals who are creating positive change around the world. So you see that the very first words, the key words here are saying that you have to be creating positive change, right? It's funded by the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, FCDO, and other partner organizations. Chevening offers two types of awards: Chevening Scholarship, Chevening Fellowships, and it goes on and on. Please, for those asking how do I go about it, the first thing you should do is about us. Learn the core of the scholarship. Now, knowing what Chevening is about is going to help you to be able to develop your application. So Chevening is approximately a typical UK university for a master's course will cost about 20,000 to 35,000 pounds, and then you factor your upkeep, your accommodation, that's some stipends that you might be given or you'll be given. And so it means that the scholarship is investing about 30, 40, 50 million naira on you. And so if I am an organization and you're pitching to me, why would I want to give you 50 million naira? You have to prove to me that 50 million naira, you are worth investing 50 million naira in, right? So it's not me begging Chevening to please come and give me a scholarship. No, I have to prove to them that I am worthy of this scholarship. I am a good investment, literally. That's what it is. So after the about us, the next place I went to was Chevening scholarships. I clicked on Chevening scholarships, and then I clicked on the FAQs. I read up all the FAQs. FAQs means frequently asked questions. There you will see questions of a lot of people that have asked, and there are answers. So for those asking about HND, OND, about 2.2, about 2.1, you have your answers there. Please go on the website and read up. If you want something, you have to invest your time, even if you don't invest money. So for last year's Chevening application, there was no requirement for IELTS, so I didn't do my IELTS. However, some schools will require that you submit an English test. For me, I targeted some schools that did not require it. Schools like Strathclyde, Cranfield, Warwick, Brunel, Loughborough, Anglia Ruskin, London South Bank Uni, a lot of other schools. Can I remember other schools I applied to? Dundee, University of Dundee, Robert Gordon University, University of Aberdeen, Derby University. I'm sure I've not called a lot. I applied to over 15 universities, but these universities that I have called, they were not so keen on IELTS. But what they required was that I submit a certification telling them that I was schooled in English. So in addition to your transcript, for those who have not gotten their transcript and who will be pursuing their transcript, please ask your universities to attach a document testifying that you were taught in English language. With this certificate, as a Nigerian, or probably as an English speaking country, if you're from an English speaking country, those UK universities are very likely to give you an admission. So for me, I wasn't able to get the English language certificate and even the testament rather, that I was taught in English. But I'll tell you what happened in the long run. So I went ahead and applied to these schools, and a lot of them gave me conditional and unconditional offers. So for me, because I didn't know what SOPs were, I didn't know how to even apply for a scholarship, I started applying to these schools so that I could practice with my SOPs. And so it was just me doing a bit of practice. So I studied online how to write an SOP, what they are looking for in the SOP. Please check for my SOP video here. You hear me read out the SOP that I use for graduate school applications. And so with that, I started applying to these schools to even see if they would give me admission, right? And it was beautiful. University of Manchester refused me an admission, although there was a reason. So all the schools I applied to did not outrightly say no. So Manchester told me that I should try again next year, and probably my application will be considered. Aston outrightly told me no, that my grade was not enough. However, Birmingham also said no because it was past the deadline. So I applied for Birmingham way later. That's because I found out there was a course. They had a manufacturing engineering course, but I didn't get it at the very beginning. I got it later on. So the application date had passed. So they were like, the course intake for that year or for 2021 is already filled up. That was the reason for rejection. So I had 3 rejections, right, in the very many schools I applied to. Now the next thing you should go to on the scholarship is who can apply, right? You open it and read it up. Please, you find who can apply. And now one of the people that can apply, or the people that can apply, are those that, if you are able to gain admission in a UK school. So Chevening is not saying don't apply if you have a 2.2, if you have a 2.1, although they strongly recommend that you have a first class or a 2.1. But if you are able to find a university that is willing to give you an admission with whatever undergraduate grade you have, then all you need to do is put out your application to Chevening, so that Chevening would see if you are if they can take you for the scholarship that year. And now there is an application timeline. For Chevening, you have different timelines, so it's easy for you to know which stage you are at the moment. So when you open the timeline, you see that we are currently at the application stage, and the applications end on the 2nd or 3rd of November. Now the next thing you go to is guidance. Please, I'm saying that you should do this on your own, so that it's not easy peasy for you. Like, these are the things I also did myself. So just dedicate time. If you're working, take out time, 1 hour, 2 hours a day to go through these things. And then the next thing is find a course, and then there is an expo. I call it an expo because one of your essays, they are asking why do you want to study in the UK. There is a tab here that says why study in the UK. So right there you are able to find some reasons why you study in the UK. So for me, I feel it's easy peasy, right? In the guidance takes you through how you can apply, how to find the right courses, because Chevening usually sponsors courses that are that start in September. That's something you should note. Courses that start in September, right? And also you also realize that Chevening scholarship or scholars are required to return to their country. This is very key. If you know that you don't want to return into your country, maybe Chevening is not a scholarship for you, because they're looking for people who are willing to impact their society. So you're going to gather knowledge and come back and, you know, pour it back into your society, right? So that is it. Now when you get to the scholarship guidance, you will see other tabs. You see common errors. This I highly recommend you to go through the common errors. It shows you errors of the previous scholars and probably why their essays did not perform up to par. Shows you references, guidance to getting your references, your interviews, how you're going to frame your interviews. You know, there's like a host of instructions on the website. So please go through the website, right? For me, when I started applying, when I started my application, that was when I started talking to my referees and asking them, oh please, you're going to be writing a reference for me, so that they are not choked when it's the deadline period. They are aware that they are going to be writing a reference for you. I'll do a video about what your references should say and how, you know, what they should recommend for you. For me, my reference was one page. One page. I did not want to talk too much. I didn't want them to talk too much, right? Just each of them just wrote 1 pages for me, 1 page reference, 1 page reference, and I uploaded. So going forward, for me, I already had 3-4 admissions. So I uploaded my Manchester, my not Loughborough, Cranfield and Warwick on the website during the application. So now I have given a background about the application, how I went through it. You know, every day I was writing and rewriting my essays. The first time when I had to write my leadership, I had so many things to write about. So I even brought things from primary school. I brought things from, you know, primary school, because I have been a leader since primary school. I've led a band, I've led a music group, I've led, you know, even in my church. So you see how my brain went wide. I didn't restrict myself just to manufacturing engineering, because that's what I was doing, and that was my own strategy. I feel that worked for me. I was willing to dig into every and anywhere I'd seen myself function as a leader, right? Because I felt like for everywhere, I'd always been a class rep. I'd always been a class rep from primary school, secondary school, till, you know, even a head girl. But all this information, I had to ask myself, which is the strongest? Which will sell me more, right? Which will tell Chevening that this girl is worth choosing, right? I'd always topped my class from primary school. It was in the university that conditions, a lot of things happened and resulted to that. So I had to look past it. I had to be able to not see my grade, but see the leader in me, and also make them see the leader in me. And that's what you should do. Make them see the leader in you. And how do you do this? You only have your words, and so your words are very, very important, right? So for me, how I was able to develop my essays was that after I had written down the very many leadership examples, the very many networking examples, I took an exercise book and wrote them down, literally, you know, spoke them into my phone, because I was not a good writer, or I felt like I didn't know how to write a lot. So I just said out what I wanted to say and then wrote it out. That was my style. I selected 4 leadership essays. I selected about 3-4 networking essays, but then my essays were like a storyline. So there was continuity. That's the English. I tried to see that there was continuity, that in everything I mentioned in my leadership, there was continuity in the networking, right? Also, something I tried to do was not to fixate myself on just one field. I tried to tell them that, okay, in this stage, in this field, I'm a leader. In that field, I'm a leader. Right? All right. So the essays came up, or I put them together in such a way that I had to learn about essay writing. Show you how far I went in my Chevening application. I had to start reading up about essay writing, about joining words, about hooker words, how you can hook people at the very beginning of your essays. And this is what I recommend for you, because a lot of people are applying for this scholarship, 60 something thousand people. You don't want to start your essay with leadership is that, because the readers might be fatigued. So you have to write your essays in such a way that at the very beginning, your first, second sentence hooks the reader. I want to know more, right? So please read up about your hook essays starters, or your starter essays. I don't know how they call it, but I just call it something that hooks your reader at the very beginning. You find them. They are transition words. So I've read a lot of essays that I hear, I did this, I did that, I did this. It becomes a listing. Meanwhile, the essay, the prompt says you should explain, right? So you're not there to tell them, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. No. It's fine that you're asked to use the STAR approach: situation, task, action, and result. But it does not now mean that you should just recite it like you're a robot. No, it's like you're telling a story. You can say, oh, let me use an example that I didn't think about this example, so please pardon it. So let's assume that COVID-19 came, and it came upon us, like in Nigeria. We didn't have we are not prepared for it. So I'm able to say that situation that, oh, the pandemic came, in my society or in my village, and I felt like it started killing people. Disclaimer, I didn't kill anybody, I'm just painting a picture. It started killing people, and people were there, and I realized I was a doctor, but then I didn't know what COVID-19 was, right? So what did I have to do? I had to go and learn. I researched, I asked questions. I realized I had doctor friends abroad. I had to do video conference calls, ask them how they were doing, how they were, tackling the COVID-19. Now that's an action. The first one was a situation. There was a problem. It must not always be a problem. It can just be any situation that you're able to paint. The second was an action, right? I took. And so after taking that research step, I now decided to start helping people in my society, start sensitizing them, even went ahead to buy 1 or 2 nose masks to share around, telling people to, practice hygiene, good hygiene. I started preaching about how COVID-19 can be managed in my society, and that before the death rate was 10%. However, going forward, the death rate has reduced by 50%. It means that it is now 5%. So you see that there is a situation, there was an action, situation, task. Yes, the task. Sorry, I didn't talk about task. So what were you supposed to do at that point? After you found out that there was a problem, you now started researching, right? That was something you started doing so that you can help your society, right? And then you now went ahead to now help them through the nose mask and everything. And then the percentage I talked about, the 10% death rate that reduced by 50%, that was now 5%, was your result. And you see that this result is concrete, it's tangible. And the way I said it now, you can relate to it, right? Even though you're not a medical doctor, if you hear the way I have said it, it's very relatable. So please write your essays in such a way that people can relate to your essays, right? That's it for both the leadership, the networking. I'm not going to be going through my essays again. You can check them in my previous videos, you can share them, but please don't ask me to send you a PDF or a Word version of my essays. That's a lazy man style. Please go ahead, listen to it and formulate yours. And besides, if you go online, there are a lot of scholars who have even been very kind to share theirs, right? I just decided not to share mine so that I can explain it and so that you can write yours. It's not enough to just copy and paste. Now you have to be careful for plagiarism when you're copying people's essays online. Chevening scans your essays to see that you've not copied. In fact, I know that the UK is very particular about plagiarism. They do not play with it. So please, if you're gaining on the Chevening scholarship, do not play with plagiarism. Also note that Chevening requires that you already have a 2 years work experience before you apply for this, and so there is a form you're going to fill, and in that form you'll be able to prove that you already have the 2 years work experience. Work experience can range from, if you're an NYSC, you just finished your NYSC and you probably have done an IT before. Maybe if you're an engineering person or a teacher training, you're a teacher and you've done teacher training for a year or so, it can count for you as work experience. I'm not saying that is what Chevening will. If you can prove that you worked for that time, then it can count for you. If you have done your NYSC for a year, it can also count for you as work experience. So please help yourself. If you have been volunteering during your time in the university, it can also count for you. But while you're writing that you're a volunteer, you should know that normally as a university student, a full-time university student, you're supposed to spend about 8 to 9 hours every day studying. So you cannot come and tell me that you have been volunteering for 9 hours every day for 7 days as a university student. It might not make sense. And that's why you find that some people are disqualified at the very first stage. So please, if you've been volunteering, there should be evidence that you've been volunteering, right? That is that. And now for those that are worried, oh, I don't have a foundation, oh, I've not held leadership positions. No, it's not compulsory that you must have held leadership positions. You must have demonstrated leadership in one way or the other. So now I have given you this intro. Let's delve right into the actual application. So I'm taking you to the website right now, and then we're going to be doing a step-by-step application, right? So cheers.